This portion of Lifestyles is sponsored by Gary Price, elder law attorney.
We're both coughing in here. The topic that we're going to discuss with Gary today is Medicaid versus estate planning. It can be confusing, and thankfully Gary is here to unmuddy the muddy water.
Try to.
Well, you know, it is confusing, and we've talked about this before, but it bears repeating that I think, from my own perspective, I really kind of didn't make a distinction between Medicaid and Medicare, let alone Medicaid and estate planning.
Right, right, and that happens a lot. In fact, what happens now and then, not always, but now and then, is you see an attorney and you do the estate planning. Everyone knows they need to do that at some point. That's the will, the power of attorney instrument, some other directives like the healthcare representative appointment, those things. The mistake is that when they do that, because I guess it's maybe estate planning and Medicaid planning might be in the same family, or it's perceived to be in the same family, they believe that if they do the estate planning and now they have identified how they want their stuff to be distributed upon their death, somehow they've also taken care of Medicaid planning.
You've done it.
Yeah. Right. And that's what people need to know. It's not. Unless maybe in your estate plan was an irrevocable trust, then you're not set for, you haven't done Medicaid planning, you've done estate planning.
Well, Gary, do you think a part of that problem is that maybe people try to do their estate planning on their own and don't know to take that next step?
I don't think that's the primary reason. I think when you go to see an attorney, a lot of attorneys do estate planning, but they don't do Medicaid planning. So the conversation's going to be restricted to estate planning, and it's an entirely different conversation when we talk about Medicaid planning.
Well, besides that is a huge mistake. Are there other mistakes we make in you know, not knowing what these two are like?
Well, I don't know about the mistake. I mean, you're real disappointed when you hear me say, wait a minute, you've done the estate planning, but that's not going to help you. You know, you came to my office believing, I just want to make sure I'm set in the event I need Medicaid assistance. And so you're really disappointed that you're not, because now you've done a good job of estate planning, but you're not there for Medicaid planning. So I think disappointment, but I also think it's real important that people know that just because they did the estate plan, they may need to still have that discussion on Medicaid plan. And that discussion on Medicaid plan may be you don't need to do anything right now, but at least you know. Now, it may also be, well, here's some things you need to do or could do in preparing in the event Medicaid is in your future, but you need to know that. You need to have that knowledge.
Well, I think just getting it on our radar, you know, here on the show and in what you do is so important, even if you're younger and you're not thinking about Medicaid. Is there a time that you recommend we make this plan?
Well, you know, when you read the manuals, they all say that when you reach that 50th birthday, it's probably time. But I don't go by that. I go by when it's, you know, people start thinking about it at different ages due to different experiences that they deal with it with their family. Now they're thinking, or their parents. Now they're thinking it, you know, about it for them. And you know, if you're staying awake at night, that's my test. If you're staying awake at night thinking about it, let's talk about it. Let's get it past you.
Well, and you discuss it in your book, I know, and let everybody know how they can get the book.
Sure. Medicaid in Indiana, just give my office a phone call, 812-475-8444. We'll get you a free copy.
All right, Gary Price, have a wonderful holiday weekend.
Thank you.
See you again. We'll be back with more Lifestyles right after this. Stick around.
This portion of Lifestyles is sponsored by Gary Price, elder law attorney.